Hi everybody. We've started module 5 and we're on lesson 1. What we are doing today, what we are focusing on is 10 more, 10 less, 100 more, 100 less. Whenever I say 10 more or 100 more, I'm adding. If I say 10 less or 100 less, I'm subtracting. So we can use that to help us. We can also use our understanding of place value. 10 more than 222. We're going to be changing the tens. We're going to have one more 10 here. It's just like adding a place value disk onto your place value chart. If I had one more in the tens place, it's going to be 232. 100 more than 222. Now we're looking at the hundreds place, and it's like putting another disk down in our place value chart. We're going to have one more in our hundreds. So it's 322. 10 less. Now we're taking away. Imagine still 222 in your place value chart. You're going to take one of those tens away. You still have 200. Now you only have one 10, you still have two ones. If I'm taking 100 away, 100 less, I'm taking it from the hundreds place. So the 10 and the 1 stay the same, but I'm just going to have one less 100, 122. So now it's the same thing. Don't be fooled. They're changing the order of it. 515 is 10 more than 10 more than this is this. 10 more than something. So I have something, I give it 10 more, and then I have 515. So we're going to take that 10 away and make it 505. 10 more than 505 is 515. 299 is 100 less than. So if this is the answer, this is something, 100 less than something equals 299, then we're going to add to this to find out this. 299, if we had one more 100 there, it would be 399. And 100 less than 399 is 299. Something is 100 less than 345. So 100 less than this means I am taking 100 away, leaving me with 245. Something is 10 more than 397. So 10 more than 397 means I'm going to be putting one more 10 here. Oh, if I put another 10 here, I'll have a group of 10. And then I'm going to need to bundle it and compose it, turn it into 100. So 10 more than 397, we would be bundling, we would have one more 100 and 0 tens. So it would be 407. We're adding 10 to this. 898 is something than 998. 898 is it less or is it more? First of all, it's less. Is it 10 less or 100 less? 100 less. That barely fits. Looking over here, 607 is something than 597. It's more than this. How much more is it? If I had one more 10 here, it'd be like up here. 597, I give it one more 10, That's going to be a group of 10 to compose into 100. So I would have 6 hundredths. Yeah, this is 10 more. 10 more than 309 is, put one more place value disk on in the tens place. We would have 300, 110, 9 ones. 309 is something than 319. Those are the same numbers we have here. So 10 more than 309 is 319. So 309 is 10 less than 319. Now down here, we're going to look at the pattern that they are creating and we're just going to finish it off. We're going to fill in the blank parts. So this is in preparation for our arrow method. So they have 280 and then they have 290. What did they add? They added a 10. So 280, 290, one more 10 is going to make it 300. If you add another 10 to that, you're going to get 310. If you add another 10 to that, 320. Add another 10, 330. 530, 520. Are we getting bigger or smaller? 530, 520, 510. We're getting smaller. Are they taking 10, is it 10 less or 100 less? They're just taking tens away. So 530, 520, 510. If you take one more, you would have 500. If you take another 10, in order to take that 10, you have to decompose 100. So we would have 400. And then in order to take that, if you had 10 tens and you took one of them away, you would have 490. Taking one more 10 away, we would have 480. If any of this along the way starts to get complicated, then with your whiteboard, do a chip model of that first number. And then figure out how am I changing it to get the second number. And then just keep doing that with your chip model or with your place value disks if it's easier. 643, 543. What changed here? Are we getting bigger or smaller? First of all, it's smaller. Did they take away 10 or did they take away 100? They took away 100. The tens and ones stayed the same. So we're going to take away 100 every time. 643, 543. Take away another 100. We would have 443. Take away another 100. 343. Take 100. 243. Take another 100 and you're down to 143. Here we have 681 and then 691. Are they getting bigger or smaller? Down here you have 700, so I think they're getting bigger. 681, 691. Did they add 10 or did they add 100? They just added 10. So 681, 691. If you think of it as 690 and you added 10, you would have 700. So here we have 701. Add another 10. You're going to have 700, 110, and 1, 711. Add another 10, 721. And then add another 10, 731. 427. Oh, and then they don't give us any for a while. But we end up down here with 387, 377. I notice, first of all, the numbers are getting smaller, so it's less. I'm either taking away 10 or 100 every time. So let's look at these two numbers which we have next to each other. 387, 377. Did we take away 100 or a 10? The 100's still the same, but look, there's one less 10. So we're taking away a 10 every time. 427. We're going to take one of those hundreds. So we have 400, 110. Oopsie, did I get two? 400, 110, 7 ones. I need to take away a 10. My 100 stays the same. I just don't have any more 10s. Now I need to take another 10. I don't have any 10s, and I can't take 10 away from 7. So I'm going to need to decompose that 4. That would leave me with 300. And if I have 300 here, I've got 10 tens in the middle here. And I need to take one of those away. If I have 10 tens and I'm taking away 1 10, I have 9 tens left. Now, if you wanted to, you could work backwards here. 377, 387, 397. When you cross over that 100, when you compose or decompose the 100, it can get a little bit confusing. So work both ways to see if your answer is working. Here they don't tell us where to start. They tell us these last three: 788, 778, 768. The numbers are getting smaller. We're going to need to work backwards though. So the numbers are going to get bigger. Are they getting bigger by 100 or by a 10? These are all 700. What's changing is the 10. There's 6 tens, and then 7 tens, and then 8 tens. So we're going to have 9 tens. 700, 9 tens, and 8 ones. But now if I add another 10 to 9 tens, I'm going to have 10 tens. So I need to compose those and make them into another 100. So I will have 800, and now I won't have any 10s left, and 8 ones. One more 10, 818. All right, we're going to use this sort of patterning to help us with our arrow method, which we're going to use on page 138. So 235, they're asking us to give us 10 more. 10 more. The only digit that's changing is the 3. So if we have one more, then we have 245. Now they're asking us to add 100. So that's the 2 digit. We're going to put one more there. That's going to give us 345. Again, if it helps you, make a chip model of that first number and then just add in a 10, add in 100, see what you have. So we have 391. This time we have less, 100 less. So we are going to look at the hundreds place. We're taking one away. So instead of 391, we're going to have 100 less. So we're going to have 291. Now we're going to take a 10. So we have 2 hundreds, 9 tens, and 1 1. We're going to take one of those 10s away. So it's 281. Important to look, are we adding 100 or are we adding 10? And are we adding it or subtracting it? It's really important that we keep those straight. So here it's less, we're taking away 10. So the 4 and the 7 are staying the same. It's the 1 that's going to change. We're going to take 1 away from it. You have 407. Now here, we're taking something away. We don't know what it is. And we get something. And then we take another 100 away and we get 297. My goodness. If I were to take 100 away, it would give me 307. If I have 307 and I take 100 away, I would have 207. That's not right. So we must be taking away a 10. So if I take 10 away from here, it means I need to decompose 100 because I don't have any 10s. So I'm going to have 3 hundreds, and then I have 10 10s, and I'm going to take one of those 10s away. That's going to be 9 10s, 7 1s. So then 397, take away 100, 297. And again, you could work backwards. We're ending up with 297 after we took away 100, so you could add 100 to go that way. Here we go. 311, 300s, 110, 1, 1. We're taking away just 110. Take one of those 10s away. We have 301. Now we're going to take another 10 away. We don't have a 10. Don't have a 10. We're going to take it from the hundreds, so we'll have 2 hundreds, and we take that 100 and give ourselves 10 10s. We're going to take one of those 10s away. That's 9, and the 1s stay the same. Now we're going to add 100. If we add 100 to that, we have 391. If we add 100 to that, we have 491. And now they want to just add 10. So if I add a 10 to this, I'm going to compose 100. That will be 10 10s, which is another 100. So I'm going to have 500, no 10s left, and 1 1. And again, if you want to make a chip model, you can do that and help yourself along the way. We're going to be doing the arrow way. So we have 370, and we are going to add 110. So let's start by adding 100. 370, if you have one more 100, then you have 470. We have added the 100, now we just have to add the 10. Adding a 10 here, we have 480. So 370 plus 110 is 480. Down here, we have a missing part. We have one part and we have our total. So we're going to start at 290, and we know we have to get to 400. So I can add hundreds or tens. If I add a 10 to 290, if I add 10 to that, what do I get? I get 300. That's going to be a much easier way to get from 300 to 400. What do I need to add there? That's just one more 100. So I've added 10 and 100 to get from 290 to 400. So these two here are what I have to put in, 110. Down here, same thing, something plus 710 equals 850. So again, I'm going to start at 710, and I know I have to get to 850. So we can start with 100 or we can start with 10. Let's start with 100. What does that get me to? I add 100 to 700, then I have 800, and I still have 10. But I want to get 850. So I'm adding 10, which is 820. Not done yet. I need to add 10, and that's going to get me 830. Closer. Add 10, 840. And finally add 10 more, and I have 850. Now, to find this missing part, we just need to add all of these together. So I have 100, 10, 120, 130, 140. 140 plus 710 equals 850. I know you worked hard today. Anytime you need to just slow down and make yourself a chip model, go right ahead. You make a chip model of that first number, and then you're just adding in what you need to and see where it gets you. So if I had 370, that would be 3 hundredths, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I'm going to add 110. So I'm adding one more 10 and one more 100. That's going to give me 407 plus 1 is 8. Double check always with that chip model if it helps you. If you need to, get your place value discs out. Just do what you need to understand the strategies that we're using. And we're going to be doing a little bit more with that tomorrow. Thanks for working hard, everybody.